Hello everyone. In this work, my colleagues and me discussed the mechanical treatment of lithium iron phosphate (LFP) as cathode material using ethylene glycol as process control agent by means of XPS and density functional studies. First of all, we studied this material using the samples obtained from Sigma Aldrich, but also reactants as ethylene glycol as the process agent modifier. In this case, it was possible to use the mechanical treatment with the ethylene glycol as process control agent, monitored by means of the core level X-ray photon electron spectroscopy. But also, it was possible to obtain slab models by means of the density functional theory, assuming the exchange correlation functional PBE along with ultra-soft pseudo potential on all of the atoms. The slab models used contain several layers of the atomic layers of the LFP, and we use the Quantum Espresso code 6.2 in order to optimize the slab models. In this case, we are trying to reproduce some experimental data by means of the theoretical approach. In this case, the XPS results survey wide scandal FPS samples, but also, as you can notice, it is possible to obtain the differences between the slab models and between the different surfaces. Okay, using by means of the using the ethylene glycol as a process control agent. You can notice the difference between the peaks achieved by means of the XPS spectrum, but also it was possible to split the different signals by means of this separation obtained by means of high temperature solid phase method. But also it was possible to determine the slab models by means of the DFT method. In this case, we reproduce slab models by using the the most important peaks in case of the X-ray diffraction patterns, and then we reproduce the most important facets in this case. But also we try to optimize in order we try to optimize them in order to obtain the surface energy. Also, it is possible to obtain the electrostatic potential maps, as you notice in figure number 7, with the isosurfaces with 0.02 atomic units of electron density. As you can notice, some surfaces are polarized and other ones was obtained with different arrangement in order to determine the most important interactions. According with the results, the slab models obtain the following ordering in case of the electron, in case of the surface energy. As you can notice, the differences are important, and then try to predict that the 3111 facet is the most stable among the other ones. In comparison, the ethylene glycol molecule exhibited the strong binding energy in case of the 101 and the 211 surfaces. It was possible also to determine by means of the partial density of states that the peaks found previously in case of the XPS analysis on the project density of states agrees very well, in particular for in case of the elements shown in the previous figure 1. Also, in this table, you can notice the different surface energies, which agree very well with the literature, but also we reported the binding energy. and the charge of electrons and the charge as the amount of electrons transferred from the ethylene glycol to the LFP surface. Finally, the slab models were characterized in order to determine the different contributions, starting with the large contributions of 3D orbitals of iron, ranging from 0 to minus 0.9 electron volts, along with the small contributions of lithium and oxygen. Finally, we conclude that the process control agency works well in order to produce favorable binding energies between the ethylene glycol and the LFP surfaces, contributing to enhance the diffusion of lithium ions through the available channels, in particular those of the 111 facet. As you can notice here, we obtain the different ion channels in which the reduction of energies required to detach the element of to detach the ions of lithiums are expected, and then we're going to work about that case later in order to propose novel novel ways to modify the diffusion of ions through the ion channels to improve the performance of the LFP as a cathode for energy purposes. Thank you very much.